Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 76 of the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. My name is Jeff, and alongside me, as always, is the Todd Kennelly to my Tom Hannafin. It's Max, everyone. What's going on?
Hey, everybody. I want to be Tom.
You don't want to be Todd Kennelly? Was that his name?
I don't even know who that is.
I'm not going to answer that. Let's see if anyone in the chat group, let's see when it fills up, if anyone can answer that for
Google.
Don't Google it, bro. Don't Google it. Let the chat have some fun. If you guys are coming into the chat, we thank you there. If you're watching us live on Twitch, 8 p.m. every Saturday currently, as Max heavily breathes over the camera.
Oh, that? No, bro, that's messed up. That's
Why?
disrespectful. You could have at least picked Taz.
I thought you'd be the guy who doesn't show his penis to people who don't want to see it. Right?
Depends how many drinks I've had, you know what I'm saying?
No. I digress.
That's a lie. Max has never done that.
He said it. I didn't say it. Anywho, welcome to the show, guys. If you're a regular viewer of the TNAIW channel, if it's us, if it's the TBN guys, or something in between, we thank you. We have a great show tonight. You guys keep the numbers going, so I really don't need to talk about it too much, but I do want to mention, if this is your first time, or you're new to Impact, or revisiting Impact, let us be your guides, all right? We are spoiler-free, transparent, unbiased, and honest, so one fan at a time, one friend at a time, as we always say. Let's do the numbers quickly, because we have a lot to talk about. So live show's doing well. We're up to 76. So you guys made a liar out of me. We're actually at 76 So we're good. I said by the episode 100 we will have 100. So 24 more weeks. What's that? 6 months?
I just need to create 24 more Twitch accounts. I have 76 already created.
Don't ruin the magic, man. No, my mom's got 2. You gotta remember that.
Okay.
And your parents got a Nielsen box, so we're all in on it.
My parents have 2. The count is 2 Nielsen box. 2 people.
Mm.
Yeah, they're actually pagers now that you wear. They're not an actual box.
It's a pager you wear?
Yeah, it's like a little device that you wear that tracks everything.
And they put it under your fingernail? Where do they?
No, you have to wear it on. You have to wear it on you.
Oh, yeah. I could go on and on that, and we'll actually talk about that a little bit, because I have to, as we say, we're transparent, unbiased, and honest. I do have to make an apology and say I was wrong on something about the Nielsen ratings and sponsors, but a little more interesting take than just Jeff's wrong. I am wrong, but in a different way. But yeah, so thank you. If you're here for the first time, if you're not, hit subscribe. If you're not already a subscriber, it takes 5 seconds. We appreciate it very much, and that's the less we have to talk right here about that. And more we can talk about Impact, which is what we're all here for. With that being said, if you are a YouTube subscriber and you comment on our last episode, the one you're viewing right now, we will read it, no matter what, unfiltered, on this show. Before I actually lie on that as well, I do have to give a shout out to Chuck Hall, who is a first-time commenter, in my opinion. If not, I apologize. He had a very lengthy and insightful comment, which is definitely worth a read, that cannot fit on this show in one screenshot. So definitely go check that out, comment back, keep the community going. What's up, IO, everyone in the Brother Bird's in there, Lucha's in there. Hey, what's going on? Good crew, Steve. GoGoPowerRankings are what we're going to get to right now after the YouTube comments. So let's go through this. Max, can you see them, or do you want me to?
I can see them. Am I reading all 3 of them?
Go for it. Starts with, I think the first 2 are from our friend Cider Blurry 28, we always agree with.
Really good show this week. Great main event with Deonna versus Roxy. We definitely agreed with that. I know I love that main event. And I mean, Impact is, I think that's just promoting, it's a little bit blurry, promoting the New Japan pro wrestling talents at the next tapings, but they can't keep relying on non-signed talent all the time. And last one is from Trent. I think it's his Hatchet. Once again, I can't read. That's blurry. Favorite Impact podcast. Well, that's nice to know.
Oh, what a sweet guy.
I'll talk about the New Japan stuff.
Okay.
At number 5.
Heard. Yeah. I would like to answer all those as well. Thank you for the niceness there. Gary's movie important.
He said
Friends can
Sling
stay
is way too buggy where I live. I had no issues with it at all. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about anything else.
Hey,
but
like a lot of things in life, sometimes you just gotta trust that somebody's area, or
yeah.
some, not
I
everything that
also
happens to
ran it
people.
off the Roku app, and I don't know if that, like off of Roku, so I don't know if
Mm,
it makes a difference in how well it works. And the fact Josh keeps getting roadblocks to the Impact title make it seem like Scott is doing this on purpose because he is a heel. I doubt they'll make Scott turn heel, but storyline wise, it would be something interesting or somewhat interesting. It would be
what,
interesting for
Glam
Scott to
Sky's
turn
24,
heel. I feel like Josh is getting roadblocked because they're trying to save that
the rematch.
the rematch, and
Yeah,
they have to give a reason other than just, hey man.
yeah. Well, it, I don't know what it goes down to rather. Do we finally stop preaching about Team Canada and Team Canada comes back and it's not a heel turn, but more of a, everyone's kind of, it's very Gotham-y, as we always say. There's a lot of turf war, so it could be anything, so it's not out of the realm of
It
possibility
was
there.
either,
But
I
yeah,
think it was Taven that brought up Team Canada on this week's episode.
he did. And what I noticed last night, because I'm a dumb, finally noticed that VBD, it would be, I feel like every group Eric Young has ever been in, they've had a flag. And I was like, holy shit. And the reason that even came into play was I was rewatching the episode and I was writing about how much I hate, and I guess I'll use it here, how much I hate when people in wrestling, like, I get it. We all understand it's a work and whatever. But do you have to put your hand over the sledgehammer every time, or the bats, or the flagpole? Like, Jesus. Like, it's
Putting it
so,
over the sledgehammer is stupid because all you do is break your hand.
it's a breaker. It's so
Like,
stupid. I hate it. But anyways,
yeah.
Anywho, no, I like the roadblocks thing for Josh because I do think it'll come full circle for him when he gets his emotions right. Even though angry Josh is the way to go, so I think angry Scott is the way to go as well. And then we forgot to Gary, hashtag your channel rocks. Gotta go our Barry Horowitz in there. All right, guys, thank you for your comments. Make sure that you like, subscribe, all that jazz, but comment, and along with this as well, write us at TNAIW channel on Twitter. I can't get my words right. We're gonna go to Power Rankings and you'll see what I'm talking about. Be right back.
Hi there, this is Doctor with 3 Years of Wrestling, and it's Power Ranking time. Number 10, Brothers by Design. Number 9, Charlie Haas. Number 8, Impact World Champion Moose. Number 7, Digital Media Champion Jordan Grace. Number 6, Steve Macklin. Number 5, W. Morrissey. Number 4, Honor No More. Number 3, Tasha Steeles. Number 2, ROH Champion Jonathan Gresham. Number 1, The Walking Weapon Josh Alexander. That was your top 10 Impact Wrestlers of the week. Do you agree? Let us know at TNAIW channel. Back to you guys.
All right. So do you guys agree? What I was trying to get out, was you can write us at TNAIW channel regarding your YouTube comments or something of that nature. If you want to write us that way to have us read something, we don't care. We'll make it work. In two, if you come on and complain about these power rankings, as a lot of people seem to want to, write us at TNAIW channel. Max, we don't talk about them too much, but as we said, it's getting very Attitude Era-ish, where every segment matters, where every segment has a star in it. And some great talent's going to miss the show. Now we should talk about power rankings a little bit. Let's put a little shine on it. Do you agree or disagree?
For the most part, I agreed. I would have put Gresham as 1. I just thought personally he's really impressed me. I obviously have a little bit of an issue when your heavyweight champion is like an 8. I feel like the fact that he's the heavyweight champion should at least put him in the top 3. even if he does nothing else other than just appear in a flashback about killing Ziggy Dice, should still be top 3. But
No, that's the point. He was in a flashback
okay.
where now if it was a continuous
He was so amazing last week that no one even felt the need to wrestle him this week. They were all scared of him. Number 1 power.
We'll have to look into it if you want to make a change. The one thing,
the best team in the NFL, if they're on a bye, doesn't automatically get bumped down to the 8th spot because they didn't play. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, that's fair. That means we need to change the system because I think we vote on we vote, by the way, meaning not you because you don't participate.
Correct.
So
Much like the American public, I prefer not to vote.
just talk about it
and then get angry about the results. Yeah.
Oh man. God bless. All right. Shout out to all the other countries around the world doing it right. I agree with you in the sense of Moose is the world champion should be on there on the regular. Deanna just won 2 championships. That wouldn't hurt. I voted for Gresham and ROH as a package deal as number 1. It's just we're getting to a place we'll have to change it up a little bit. Maybe even make it more not week to week, but as a continuous run.
See,
I think it's debatable. There's so much good talent right now.
No, I agree.
So with that being said, let me go into our first topic, of course. Someone actually mentioned I wasn't doing my lightning bolts lately, so we love you guys. Every comment you have. There you go. So Impact on Access TV. I'm going to run down the review. Max will give me his viewpoint. I'll give him mine back. We'll go from there. All right. First up, we have BTI. We had Grace successfully defending her DMC against Lady Frost. Cardona points and later clarifies he wants a shot at the Impact World Wide Web Championship, and he has, in a surprise move, has Jordan on his sights. Tasha Steelz, X and Evans with her, defeated Chelsea Green with a crucifix bomb, then has words in an exchange with Mickey. Green Evans exchange fisticuffs, as they say, and Mickey was on commentary. Once again, I'm going to mention everyone is on commentary because I think these are people who are getting TV time to talk and show who they are, develop their character, because D'Lo's out for a little bit, so I really dig that. The Influence, after attacking Rosemary and sending her out, defeated Havoc in a 2-on-1 handicap match with a double stroke like maneuver. That's why I don't know what they call it. Caleb on commentary there. Love the rapport with him and Tom already. The Inspiration are in Florida, being the Inspiration, looking great and being fucking hilarious. Morrissey destroyed the Learning Tree with the BQE in full. I guess that's his powerbomb name. Maneuver there. And full face mode, Max. Full face mode. And he wants Moose. Throwing up the W to everybody. Trying to sell that merch. We'll see what goes. Myers was on commentary for that one. We get a little small video package for the quintessential diva who's coming. Bailey is visited in his locker room by Ace and Fulton. Gives him his card. Nice little Joker wink there. ROH was escorted to a skybox. Gresham successfully defends his ROH title against Macklin. No honor, handshake in the beginning. Banger of a match. Beautiful storytelling. I can't wait to talk about that. Obviously, I'm already telling my opinion. Gallows and Doring defeated Heath and Rhino, as we called them. What did we call them? Violent Brothers? Stupid, I don't know. Where were we there?
With
there we go. Okay, Doring. So and Anderson on commentary.
Anderson
Heath and Rhino, doing their thing. Alexander defeats Charlie Haas via tap out. ROH then invades. Impact Frontline make the save, if you will. Shout out to Craig for that little reference. And then Maria asks, do we believe? And she used to believe, and now they believe that their name is Honor No More, the Rogues Gallery from ROH. A lot to unpack, Max. Let's shy away from the ROH because we're going to hit that at number 3 in more detail.
Okay.
But do you like this program for the DMC Championship? Is it a great way to put Cardona in the place that we've been preaching he should be for the past few months as far as a character? And then Morrissey, complete face. Where does that lead besides No Surrender? February 23rd, live on Impact Plus.
So first off, I think Cardona going after this DMC championship is great. He had mentioned that, he kind of started this whole thing, and he did. Like, that was his title that he had created in WWE. So I think he did great in his program with Moose and Morrissey. I feel like it made sense for him to go after this. It was one of those things that he should have been at the beginning.
Yeah.
So I liked that a lot. Overall for the episode, I liked the episode a lot. I'll say my favorite match was the ROH match. We'll talk about that more. But I liked that they addressed that D'Lo wasn't there. It wasn't like, oh, hey, they addressed, hey, D'Lo's still healing up,
Right.
and we're gonna go ahead and have the people on again. I thought everyone did a really good job. I thought Caleb with a K did a really good job talking about, like, they did a lot building their rivalry with the
I
Influence.
agree.
Talking about, how they chickened out, how they were scared. They're like, well, they weren't cleared to be here, so they brought up that.
Yeah.
I thought that was really well done. I thought the Josh Alexander Charlie Haas match really surprised me. I knew it was going to be good just because it's Josh Alexander, but I wasn't sure if Charlie Haas how much he had wrestled, but kind of from what it sounded like he had said after this that kind of this match kind of reignited the fire in him, and he was like, hey, I'm going to take once I heal up from the concussion, I'm going to take bookings again. So I wasn't really sure. Obviously, I saw that prior to me seeing the match,
Okay.
so I wasn't sure like how much he had been wrestling, but he looked good. I thought he's someone that I would like to see back in periodically from time to time. I don't know if I want to spend full time with him, but definitely good enough
Yeah.
there. Tasha Steelz, I understand she won the Big X. I really wish it was something other than a giant X that she carried around, because
That's
it's
it's
just
history.
I know, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like, I wish there was some type of something, because just carrying around the Big X to me is funny. But I thought it was a good episode overall. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of zoned out on the Dot Gallows Joe Doreen versus Rhino and Heath match.
See,
Kind of right after the ROH
yeah.
match, I was still kind of, man, I was really good at that one. Just kind of
The
yeah,
tag
off
division
to me.
is meh right now. We could agree.
Yeah, I don't like them all teamed up. I kind of feel like it takes away two tag teams. Instead of, like, I almost feel like the Good Brothers and versus VBD could be a feud, but they're teamed up. We've got the quintessential diva Joel Gertner coming. My apologies, he's the quintessential stud muffin. So we've got another. They're using the video package. I like that they use the video packages like that.
Yeah.
It really reminds me of old WCW, like when you would get like I always go back to the Glacier package for some reason. This is the one like
Right.
thing that always sticks out to me is Glacier. But no, and I like the stuff I like what they're doing with the ROH. I don't want to talk about it too much, but I found it funny to where they're like, hey, we bought tickets.
Mhm.
We have tickets here. And they go out there and it's like, did you really think we would let you in after what you guys did last week? And Taven's like, yeah. Like, why wouldn't you let us in? We've got
Right.
tickets. Like, I just thought that whole like interaction was really well done and really funny. I'm interested with Eddie coming out for the save there.
Yeah.
He's still put on as Impact's hero,
Mhm.
but I'm really wondering if he's going to end up turning. Like, he comes out with a kendo stick, swinging at people. It's one of those things where I'm
Yeah.
like, man, it'd be so good for him to turn, and them like they do it. It's an invasion that they're doing right.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know we'll touch on that on 3, so I'm not going to go ham on that. But it's hard not to talk about it because there's so many things intertwined with its goodness.
With the storylines, yeah.
But as far as the division, it's no offense to the individuals, I don't think. I think that we like the Good Brothers well enough. I love the Good Brothers. I mean, come on, we're fans.
Oh yeah.
Individually, yeah, Rich and Willie, cool. VBD, cool. Even though I wish it was, maybe more defined as who the tag team is in it. Especially if you're splitting them up all the time. Now I understand why they're doing it. They're, the division is noticeably weak. it's the weakest spot. I think even the company would admit that. It doesn't mean it just means that it doesn't mean it sucks necessarily. It just means that everything else is right now is top priority. But with
Yeah.
the addition of the kingdom and stuff, we'll get to it there. I still get obviously the Bullet Club has to come into play here at some point with the Good Brothers. Be a program, and obviously we're spoiler free, so please keep it spoiler free free in the chats, please. But you know. I think there's a reason, and obviously Bullet Club's coming in to take on VBD, as you can see on our Tron there. That's going to be a match that's guaranteed. So maybe that was always the plan, and they just needed to get hold off for now and get by for now. It's no excuse whatsoever. But Heath and Rhino, the pairing is, the one thing I looked at, and it wasn't even about the tag division that I was harping on with Heath and them. I love Rhino. Hearing his music, the nostalgia of that is still great to me. But I feel so bad for Heath. He went from, I think, someone who proved us wrong within a matter of a couple tapings, not even, when he first debuted. And we were stoked. We weren't the biggest Heath fans coming in. We didn't, watch his work enough or find it interesting enough within the WWE, universe to watch. But we were pleasantly surprised. We were excited about it. He gets injured. The momentum was there, unfortunately. He had those great video packages. And now he's got to come back and build up. And unfortunately for him, he's coming in back at a time, where the amount of talent we have is probably double when he came in originally.
Yeah. I feel like he would be best if they're going to stick him in a tag team. Is him in a tag team with Brian Myers?
Oh, I was thinking that because they both could play
I feel
douchey.
like
They both.
Yeah, they would be a better tag. I like him and Rhino because they have this funny little story about, I have kids and all the stuff from WWE that they did that was funny. But in terms of him actually being something, and if they're just going to be a jobber tag team, cool. If that's all you see, but I feel like him and Brian Myers would be a really good tag team if they're going to put somebody together.
Yeah. No, it's funny you say that. We don't powwow off air as far as going over the topics and and telling us our points. But that's really great. Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. And it's not that I don't like Brian Myers on his own. Obviously, I'm supporting my shirt. I love the learning tree, but I think it would be really cool for him to show people how it's done, kind of shit. And get away from it being Cardona for a bit. I think that'd be a breath of fresh air for everybody, and it'd be really funny. And I just want Heath to get his and to get back to where he was. I know it's gonna be a slow crawl, but it sucks for him. I feel bad.
Yeah, it's gonna take some time. And
no.
also, last thing I'll say, then I'll let you run through it. I feel like I really like Tasha Steelz. I feel like she's continued to separate herself as a single star. The match was good, and then her talking with Mickey, where she mentions going back to Empower, mentions Nick Aldis. I was hoping she'd call him Nicky James.
Yeah.
I know that's our joke,
Yeah.
but had she said that would have been great. But I think she's gonna be the next champion. I think she's a good pick for it.
Here's my thing on Tasha. I think before date, and this isn't whatever, but this is just for me being honest. So the next thing I say doesn't seem like I'm whatever. So you can see the transparency in my belief here. I love Tasha. Day one, came in. I know I said, give her and Kiera the bag, give them the shirts, give them the merch. I'll buy each one. I did. And put them together. They were the first knockouts. We believed in them since day one. Let's put that out there. I still believe in her now. That promo and her promo work, unfortunately, and she's trying, and they're trying to give her the confidence or whatever it may be. It's just not. It doesn't feel organic, and it doesn't feel real. It feels like she's talking as if I'm, kind of boistering.
Yes, I liked it.
I don't feel like it's her, and it's not that she's not that attitude. She is not those words. It's however she's delivering it, or they're asking her to, or she thinks she needs to. I just want her to be herself. because her stuff's pretty fucking cool. And her, you know what I mean? Like, she's just natural. I think it'll work a little bit better. But she's got to come into it. Hey, look, AJ, and that's the greatest compliment I could give. AJ was well, obviously a day one fan of June 19th, 2002, but he wasn't the most believable, I guess.
Oh, he was horrible.
Okay.
He was horrible.
Okay. Well, we have our things. So, and he came around, and I actually enjoyed listening to AJ, and I always have, because I've, once again, same with Tasha. I'll never just not be a stand for her, but at the same time, like, I hope she grows into it. She's young. She's got time. But that was one of the notes I had. I love the Cardona thing because it's going the direction we want it to. Love the Tom thing, but I'll talk about that. No.
Calm down.
I know I got a little velvet. Velvet and oh Lord. Yeah, I love the Cardona stuff. I love the production. It's looking more and more like 2006 to 8 TNA. I think the goal for Impact is to get to 2010 venues by 2023. But hopefully we fill out those venues compared to TNA. So let's see what else I got here. Yeah, love all those. Love the Macklin, man. I know we'll get into it more when we talk about Gresham, and then we'll talk about more with that match and stuff. But as far as Macklin by itself, if he doesn't represent what the fuck you can do in Impact Wrestling and make you go, oh yeah, maybe I should go there after getting canned somewhere, I don't know what does. This dude was someone that you told me he signed and has nothing to do with where he came from or as far as what company or who he's dating or not. I don't give a shit about all that. I didn't know enough. I wasn't excited. I think everyone could say in WWE, no one saw this coming. I don't think this Macklin was there in NXT like we're seeing now. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But this dude is something I look forward to every fucking time he comes out. That jacket fits him. He's doing the Punisher thing. It works. He didn't do the handshake. He very just Wolverine-y Punisher, and I fucking dig it, man. So I'm really happy for him there, and us who get to watch it. A lot of Kurt Angle references, which we'll talk about at 4. We'll do a little counterpoint on that, I think. I agree with Eddie thing. We'll talk about that at ROH, but as soon as I wrote it down, as soon as he came out, man, he swung and no one hit. No, it didn't hit nobody. I think we're going somewhere. Even if they just tease it.
So I can't remember who the last person is out. He even now it may have just been him trying to get them out of the ring, but he actually like pushed someone out of the ring instead of hit him with a thing. Which, granted, may have been just getting them out of the ring, but if we're looking for a reason.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out a couple of things that I wrote down in the treehouse here that obviously do not make sense when reading them back. I do have something about fabric, which I know what it is, and I don't want to. I love that. I think it's Jolene who's been the very wonderful seamstress for Impact all these years. But when they get a new roll of fabric, that fucking building, because it's that gold, that red, and that black. It's on everyone's new costume, man. Everyone's new attire, and that was a little high, Jeff. And I just remind me because Tasha had the menagerie. It's fun of kind of like circusy like gimmick at
yes, the menagerie.
Yeah, and then the menagerie, and then kind of look, and then Moose had the robe, the more Stingish robe that had the same material, and then I forgot who this week influenced it. Yeah, as I said before, inspiration or gold. I'll touch on D'Lo later, but the other thing I want to point out, Sarita and Taylor Wilde were the throwback video of the week.
That was interesting.
Was interesting. That was when they were first crowned. It could be just trying to get the belts a little importance, show the history of it there, but something to keep your eye on. She was taken off the roster page, but that doesn't mean anything. Remember, you can ask Impact; they'll say the same thing. It just cleaning up doesn't mean they're not welcome back. They were per deal or whatever it is. Hey, brother Craig. Hello, my friend. A perfect chance to plug that and move on to the one more topic before we go on. You could catch Craig now if you're missing Craig on their British sister show across the pond there. It is called Talking Bloody Nonsense. It airs every Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. British time. Him and the wonderful Nixon. It's a great banter. You'll dig it. And they talk about British wrestling, which I can't say nor talk about because I'm ill-knowledgeable. All right, and unintelligent. All right, let's get into number 2. There's a lot. Oh yeah, I did want to say the Morrissey thing real quick. I think this ends with Enzo still. I think it does. I think people should prepare for that, whatever they feel. I don't think it's. I don't. The hatred towards the guy, I don't understand. If you don't like his character, that I could. You know. Yeah, I think,
I think a lot of the hatred comes from that improper, or when he got the allegation against him that turned out to be false. I think a lot of people already didn't like the character.
Right.
And then when that came out, it was kind of like, okay, cool, I just hate him now.
Yeah.
But
and I think I was obviously one of the people that wasn't a big fan of him when he jumped to Raw. I don't know why. From NXT, it just changed. I told you that.
He was good by himself, and when he was the, I want to call it the cruiserweight champion, he was good there.
Yeah.
With the Zoe train, but outside of that,
the one other thing, and I guess I'll save the match talk for later. Yeah. It's about Macklin, but I'll save it. It's whatever.
I want to talk about that match.
But I do want to say the ROH footage. I'll at least say that. The memories that gave back. It actually, if Johnny, I don't know if you're watching, but it's actually a show Johnny and I attended. I think he was working. He was working though, so we were just visiting, or we were watching. He was working. Yeah, and it was really cool to see that. Really cool to see how they present ROH with the respect and dignity that we should be treating ROH and their fandom, even though maybe we weren't treated as such prior. Remember that, guys. All right, number 2. This is another one of being transparent, honest, and all that jazz. I have to admit, I said the Nielsen ratings don't matter. I'm not going to admit that isn't the case. I still think that to certain markets, to certain sponsors in the Pfizer world and those kind of big name sponsors, which is the money. Sure, yes, it does matter. But more people watch other people's wrestling podcasts than they watch all of the cable news combined. So it's not, you know what I mean? Like there's how much does it matter? Could one YouTube video or one podcaster change the game in regards to sponsorship and all that? And that's what we're going to jump into a little bit. The Nielsen ratings are changing. Eventually, we will have to embrace them because they will be more accurate. Max was already mentioning something about a fucking what is it called? A leg bird?
they're like little. They look like little pagers that they wear, that my parents
on
wear.
their ankles.
I mean, I don't know. They're not on house arrest.
You never know, man. But yeah, gotta get the ratings somehow. But yeah, so my point is we kept mentioning, well, if it's 1000% proof that we're getting sponsorship without the great ratings that other people get. So how are we getting sponsorship? Which we are in the chef box and all that, sure. But when it comes to the movies, I mentioned it last week that maybe, and we should look into this because it might be that multi-million-dollar 3,000 library video on demand purchase that Anthem made. I think in November. And sure enough, it is. So we are sponsored by our own brand. I don't know if it's not as tacky as it sounds, because look, anytime you watch a Hulu show and you get a Disney advertisement, do you shit on Disney and say, "Oh, that's tacky of Hulu to air"? No, you don't. So they still get paid. It's still a division. It is what it is, but would it be nice to have bigger other sponsors? Of course. But anyway, so Gravitas Ventures.
We don't own PBR.
That is true. Nor that meal thing, unless Robert Irvine does. But yeah, so as far as that goes, I do want to correct myself and say that Gravitas Ventures, if you want to look it up, is now an Anthem company. They bought 3,000 movies. This one in particular. Now, Max, this is the question I have, because there's actually a question besides my admittance of idiocy. So, one, does that change your mind about the Nielsen ratings once again? As in, oh man, I guess because we're not getting sponsors, that means the ratings do matter. Or would you call this a revelation in the sense of what we talked about slightly off air, though, and we'll bring it into this, which is Impact isn't waiting around anymore for some white knight to come in like TNT and scoop us up. We didn't have that momentum that AEW did when they secured theirs, or the connections, or whatever it may be. Right now, we are in a place, thankfully, from Scott and Anthem writing the ship, to where now our parent company can buy a multi-million-dollar 3,000 movie library, video library, and use it to advantage. What this really means, what they're doing is very smart. They purchased it for multi-millions, but it's not anywhere in the double digits if my intel is correct here. The movie that King's Daughter, which is, hate to say it, but I have to be honest, it's a piece of shit. And I'll tell you how I know it prior. But long story short, it'll go in 2,100 theaters. Anthem paid diddly for it. They put it out there. It was originally a movie that was watched over by Disney, then Paramount, then abandoned. So they slapped Julie Andrews' narration on it, and they're putting it out in theaters. And now that the theater brands are dying because of the situation we're in, Anthem is taking the advantage there and putting some things in movie theaters, even if they aren't the best movies or they are just content. And I think that's the way the world's going. Most of the big premieres will go to Disney. Most of the big premieres will go straight to Netflix. So it's an opportunity for even maybe Impact to have their pay-per-views in theaters again or something. And that's the open door thing. And I know people say, oh, that's a stretch. It's really not. Knowing the little amount of stuff I do from the time I was in said industry, everything is connected in the way of, I just said, with Disney and Hulu. Even more so now, you could look it up and you could see the interweb, that everything feeds each other. So I think this is really cool for Impact. It makes it look like we have some sponsorship. So for if other sponsorship comes along and says, oh, let me give this a look, even if they fucking know it's our own company. And honestly, in a world where cable is dying, let's be honest, I already said, I really believe that, unless they change their game. The world is going to two things. You wait for that white knight, or you build your own brand. And it makes me happy that we have a parent company that people will complain about no matter what, that are making the strategic moves to put Impact's brand out there in a more responsible way, instead of how, I hate to say it, but when Hogan came in and just threw our money out there and made us go live and travel and all this shit. They've done the right things. They've invested the right way. And it's possible that I think everything they do feeds each other. So I'm okay with it. I don't have to answer, but you do. So I just went on, sorry.
So, first thing I'll say is I'm looking through Gravitas Ventures' library,
Oof.
and it's hot ass.
Mm.
Like, the best thing I've seen so far is Valiant, which looks like it might be the story of the Las Vegas Knights.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's good.
Cool. Yeah, a lot of it.
And then it looks like they have a movie that looks like it's not Rent, but it's got, how Rent has like the colors in RENT, and it's in different, each one it's called Streetlight Harmonies, and it's got that, so it looks like it might be like I don't know. It just looks horrible. But either way, in terms of them using, I mean, the movies just look bad. They do have an Abducted by Plain Sight movie, looks interesting. So the whole thing about them putting the movie on or using Impact to promote it, I don't think that's a bad thing, because as you said, Disney owns Disney, ESPN, and ABC.
Hulu.
And Hulu.
National Geographic.
Yeah, but like the National Geographic has its own channel. I'm just National Geographic channel, but whatever. Okay. But so like when you see like you said, when you see a advertisement for Disney on ABC or ESPN, Disney isn't doing that because they're like, you know what, we own these channels. Let's just throw an advertisement on them.
Right, just to fix the black or red.
Yeah, it's not like, because they're doing that because they're like, well, this particular show gets good viewership. We want people to watch whatever Disney product we're putting out. Yeah. So we'll run an advertisement because we can. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's the same thing here. Now, this movie apparently, this King's Daughter movie another movie that looks like it's hot ass, but it does have James Bond in it, or old James Bond in it.
Now,
But
one real quick, I can give you a quick summary. Pierce Brosnan, the former James Bond, is trying to murder a mermaid. So there's that. And it cost $40 million, and I'm sure Impact or Anthem got it as part of a $5 million review. Yeah, but
I mean, the preview looked good. When I was seeing the preview, I was like, "Oh, this looks like something I might want to watch."
no,
Apparently not. But I think they put that show on they put that preview on Impact because Impact is Anthem's #1 show.
yeah,
Which means if you're looking to put a movie that you're trying to get people interested in,
right.
putting it on your #1 show is a good thing. So it's clearly they have faith in Impact
Right.
to be like, hey, you draw viewership. Let's go ahead and use this as a sponsor. So I don't. Is it a little disappointing that it's not its own thing that Impact is just getting these? Yes, but I do agree that it very well could. Excuse me, could lead to other people saying, "Hey, why not? We're an indie movie. We don't have the money to put a advertisement on AEW
Right.
or on TNT, TBS, or USA or Fox, but we can put it on Impact."
Right.
And
Same
so I
market.
think
Maybe.
yeah, so it's a wrestling show. So I think that's what it can do is it can lead
Yeah.
to things like that. And I think it's not always about picking up big sponsors because unfortunately
Yeah.
big sponsors don't like put money into wrestling.
No.
But if you can find the right sponsors and more sponsors, it's going to show growth in your product and that they're at least getting a return that they're happy with and they'll continue to invest.
Well, I think that's the thing people got to realize is take a step back and say, well, why don't they go get Snickers? Well, because fucking Snickers doesn't want to pay them any money to
Yeah.
the numbers just aren't Snickers numbers. We get that. We would be on TNT if we had Snickers numbers, okay? So of course they want bigger things, but for now it's going to be, Irvine's chocolate bars and fucking what was it? Streetlight hookers or whatever you said the movies.
Yeah, whatever it's called.
All right,
Legion of Brothers, not Band of Brothers, but the Legion of Brothers. The Reagan Show. I think that might be something like the Truman Show, but we'll see.
Maybe it's about economics. All right, real quick, I forgot. I found this in my room the other day. Yeah, it's Daphne. R.I.P. Daphne.
Was your daughter playing with it?
No, it's just it was in a box of stuff. A box of stuff. Anywho, let's move on to number 3. I don't even move my damn lighting bulbs. Christ. All right, ROH Gresham. We've been fighting off trying to talk about it. I mean, we could go on about this, incredibly. We have 17 minutes, so I do want to hit all of the topics, but this is a big one. I'm digging it. I don't know how you're feeling about it. Still nervous? Are you unhappy that, they're taking other talent spots? / maybe we could talk about that in the new show a little bit more at number 5, as far as talents losing spots or whatever. What do you think's next is another question. Where does this go? Does this play into a new show? How great is it to have pure wrestling on TV, for fuck's sake? What's going on?
So the pure wrestling is awesome. And I don't know if it's as much that I really like the pure wrestling as much as I like the announcers talking about different things. Oh, you get or you can strike with a closed fist once and then the second time you're disqualified. Well, they had talked about when Macklin did it. He's like, oh, you use that to get in your opponent's head. The rope break things are really interesting.
Yeah.
Like it's a different rule set. It's interesting, and although all this stuff is obviously predetermined, it allows these wrestlers to play with a different type of strategy than a normal match allows you to.
Exactly.
Because you only get 3 rope breaks. So working that into the match to where you're like, hey, you're out of rope breaks. Okay, like little things like that.
Yeah.
I think the pure rules are really exciting. I love that this belt is being defended on Impact.
Yeah.
I don't mind the fact that they're using people that aren't Impact because here's the thing. Our biggest issue or one of our biggest concerns is, hey, when we make stars, they leave and go to AEW or WWE. So here's the thing: if the people that we're using as our stars, and not always, but a mix of people are from outside people, ROH who are only here for a short time, or New Japan people who are here for a while and will leave and then may come back, they're only going to be here for a short time. So you build a program around them.
Yeah.
You focus on that program, and then you can be done with it. You don't have to sit here and wonder, is this going to be someone I'm going to have for the next 2 or 3? No, we know we're not going to.
Yeah.
And it almost similar to what you said about the Attitude Era, it forces the people in Impact to either step their game up
Yeah.
or get left behind. Because let's be realistic, if you're grabbing people from other promotions and you're bringing people in on a per deal basis, you may only need 20 people on your 30 people on your roster.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it can be filled with people who aren't there, which means you can actually get bigger stars in Impact because you're saying, hey, we only need 20 people. I don't need a 50-man roster because we work with New Japan. We'll bring in these people per appearance, and you can kind of use it to get bigger people. So I like what they're doing. I think it's a good idea. So
Yeah. I love all of it, obviously. I think as in regards to that, if if we're gonna say on one hand that Impact is building its own brand, Anthem is building it around their flagship Impact, yada yada yada, they have to build up more content. Now, granted, Impact has a shit ton of content, but what adding to the roster and bringing these ROH guys in now really does is how many times do people, if you watch Impact Plus or have the opportunity to do so, or YouTube Insiders, or when it gets to a point where we have a good app, will more likely tune to something that says, oh, top crossover Forbidden Door moments of the year. There's all these little things, YouTube clips, all these little revenue makers just off the interactions of these people. So the more faces you can have on doesn't necessarily hurt the brand. So in my opinion, because it's when you have an invasion of 5 people, especially, you can only really make the 5 people that eventually beat you. And when we keep bringing more people in, all that does is secure more matches. If we're going to go full on invasion anything for our guys that need a little rub, they can get more opportunity. Just it spreads out the wealth. I saw, I think Lucha mentioned BTI in there too. BTI is stepping up. We've been mentioning the matches as well because they've been really consistently good. The video packages have been nicely done. It's all about building more content. So I know we'll go more into number 5 if we have time, but I just wanted to mention that. All right. As far as the Gresham thing, I wanted to talk about Gresham and Macklin in that match and the peer rules in general. When I say pure, yeah, the rules are super cool. It does give them a new whole way to figure out a strategy of beating someone in kayfabe, obviously. It does give them new little things to use along the way for spots, that are more mental than a move, per se. So I really dig that style of wrestling, though. The reference I'm going to make is what I actually believe. And once again, the show is we say what we feel. Like, if you have a problem with it, write it. We'll talk about it, and we'll see if we're wrong. But I don't care, because this reminded me Malenko versus Benoit, that match of just 2 guys who could go out there and wrestle on a WCW stinker of a Thunder or a Saturday night event or whatever the hell it was called, and just tear it up for 15, 20, whatever minutes they were given, and just have a match that made sense. That made sense. Now, I'm not an old Cornetti guy. I'm not going to say all wrestling needs to be like that. I love the X Division. I love the evolution of where we are with wrestling. But there is a place for this kind of wrestling, and I hope it's on Impact permanently. Now, I know we'll talk about the new show. Gresham is great. I made the argument that he should be number 1 in our power rankings just because, more so than Josh for me. And I think that match is inevitable. I like right now Gresham is must see for me because it's such a different palette. It's a different. It's just a different palette that you're painting off of. It's just it's such a good throwback, and I dig it, and I love the story that it told with Macklin being an asshole, not wanting to shake, Macklin having no honor, Macklin punching him in the
Yeah.
face. There were so many cool little things that developed Macklin more, even though he lost. So I love everything they're doing. I know people kind of were like, honor no more. That's a weird. Yeah, you gotta whatever. I'm here nor there. If that's the group name, it is the group name. Um, I really dig. I will say this. Oh, you go.
I think that name holds two different
Yeah.
purposes. One, they're not going to fight with honor. They don't have honor.
Right.
But two, they're no longer a part of Ring of Honor
Okay.
because the company's gone.
Yeah.
So it kind of, the name
works,
kind of
right?
serves two purposes.
It's
Yeah.
a double entendre. Yeah.
I still hate PCO
Yeah, I love it.
with his little Frankenstein
I love it.
headgear. That bothered me.
Love it. It's like Josh's Frankenstein headgear, right? Same thing.
Let's see. I found the two best movies, by the
Oh
way,
my god.
from Gravitas Adventure.
All right, lay it on us.
One is For the Love of Spock.
Okay.
Currently holds 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
The second,
Yeah.
and that is a 2016 film. The second so far is Back in Time, which is a documentary about Back to the Future.
Oh yeah. I know that one.
So
Yes.
that's all of them. I scrolled through all of them, and those are the two that I found that looked decent.
Yeah, but guys, look for yourself. Make your own opinions. Max has the most interesting movie taste in the world.
Just saw Scream 5. Absolutely amazing, by the
Yeah,
way.
I'm sure it's going to win an Oscar this year.
Definitely not.
Okay,
but
so the thing I want to mention though, really quick, besides the loving ROH thing, loving the group, I don't care about the name. I'm excited about what happens. You said Invasion done right. I think you're right because right now you just said that they're not part of Ring of Honor because that no longer exists in the lapse right now we're in. So they're not going home to a parent company right now. So they're on their road. And two, they're not going to fight with honor when they fight in Impact. They're not going to shake hands. They're not going to do all that. They're going to wrestle. So you're right on both. But when you say those things, it makes so much sense for us to just call it there. And that's what it is. That if Gresham or a Roxy, who even though I think she'll go she'll take that tryout, or she already had the tryout, I think she'll join WWE. But even if when a Gresham turns or someone new comes in, it plays off the fact of, hey man, I'm just here because ROH sent me and I'm cool. Like I just want to wrestle and whatever. And then the group of rogues who are the Honor No More that are trying to entice them to come in or know they're already part of the group. Do you know what I mean? Like that turn. I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but it's so definitive that they're not part of Ring of Honor or whatever it may be. And that Gresham in the beginning, even in his first interview, when I think he was Macklin came or something, he was mentioning how there's two different groups that were battling for Ring of Honor. There were the pure wrestling guys, and that's him who represent that in the foundation, I believe. And then the other group, which is these rogues. And I love how it's playing out. So if he eventually turns, or Roxy does, whoever it is comes in and so Rick and Bonnie, for fuck's sake, it's going to be really cool because you're not expecting it. You're expecting it to be, this is ROH, these are the guys who don't. So I'm really excited about that. I like everything going on. And the one thing before we hit up 4 and 5 quickly, I think we'll maybe have to skip 5. We'll just give our short answer. We can make it a cliffhanger. To wrap that up, though, D'Lo not coming back, I love how it's getting played because I think D'Lo can come back with a group of STP and represent a different ROH, obviously. And I think we might get a D'Lo Brown match in 2022. And
that'd be cool.
And I'm freaking stoked. So I hope he brings the chest protector out so Taven can talk about it. But right, 4 on 4.
I mean, we already know one of D'Lo's boys is already in Impact. Him and Doc used to run together back in the day. Maybe he's gonna call up Bully and just bring.
No, I think this is a 4 on 4. I think we're gonna see STP, and once again, don't tell us. We don't know. This is spoiler free if you're just tuning in.
Yeah.
But STP and D'Lo coming in to take on I guess Honor No More group would be really cool. All right, so we have number 4, which is Angle Returns. There's a lot of references and a lot of buzz because Charlie Haas and them name dropping Kurt Angle quite a bit last night. I think Macklin even hit an Olympic slam that was called an Olympic slam.
Yeah.
Kurt's dropping a lot of hints. The rebellion symbol is a question mark. Who knows what that can mean? Doesn't necessarily mean Kurt, obviously, but you know, I'm gonna shout out to whoever's the production side of Impact, really stepping it up with these videos and these things. Really cool shit. Yeah, literally spoiler free since '83. There you go. So you know, I think there's the automatic why ruin it for Angle, the legacy he had in Impact / TNA that was just phenomenal. He admits that it's his favorite run or whatever. What do you think? Should he risk it to come back in and 1 or 2 off? You know, I don't think he risks it unless he is ready to show that he's Kurt Angle. But is it even worth it? Could he come back in a different role, or do you just think he doesn't come at all? Is this just a nice wink to him?
So I don't want him to come back and wrestle at all.
Okay.
He looked like ass in his last couple matches in WWE. Now, maybe he was hurt, whatever. It looked like, it reminded me of watching Ben Roethlisberger play football this last year.
Yeah.
Like, man, it is time for you to go. I want to remember the good times. I want to remember you doing moonsaults off the top of cages onto Jeff Jarrett.
Roethlisberger?
No, I mean, he might have done those. I don't know. Kurt Angle. Not you losing to Baron Corbin. I mean, hey, you know what? You can only do so
Tua.
much. Right. Tua's never won a playoff game either. Like, Ben had a Super Bowl by his second year. But so I would love for him to come back in some type of role, either a manager or just something. Maybe on the, I don't know if he could be on the desk. I don't know if that would work for him.
Yeah. He's never been the best. He's a situational promo, which I dig.
But I would love for him to come back as a manager and take over some guys and elevate them. But I just don't want to see him back in the ring.
I mean, they could definitely be a better version of Team Taz or something like that. And that's not a shot. I mean, look who's in Team Taz. Does that make sense to you?
I mean, Hook is good.
It's not about being good or bad.
Son,
I mean,
but
the look of
makes
it,
sense.
what they did with Cage, who I think will be back very soon. So that's what goes into my opinion on this. If I don't think Kurt will jeopardize it unless he can show that he's the not old Kurt Angle, but the one that can make it through there. And have it and put on a good match that you'll remember. I do think he has a home with Impact. Period. I also think Regal does, so I hope it'd be really cool. Both of them turn up, but rolls are rolls, and too much is what we're going to talk about. If I agree with that. I think the GM commentary role is best suited for Regal. That would be really dope. It puts it just like Tom. It puts a spit shine on our product. Gives it a little definitive, wax job before presentation. I really, it's really easy polishing. Really easy polishing. I want to bring up the idea. Let's bring up the new show thing. Use that as a cliffhanger, and then we can talk about what I was going to say. So really quickly, let's get to the answer. We alluded to it the whole show. The roster is expanding. There's people, and I know you won't want them, and I don't necessarily at all want him on the brand. Doesn't mean he can't get a job elsewhere. But Marco Stunt's about to be a free agent. I think who else was Brian Cage? There was a few other ones. Joey Janela,
Joey Janela.
A bit.
I can't.
Dante Martin,
the guy who, the little dude who, what is his name?
Marco Stunt.
No, not him. The other guy. Used to be in ROH.
Oh, Leo Rush.
Leo Rush.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's I wonder why that is. It's obviously expiring. Maybe he doesn't want to take down his tweets anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They apparently kind of patched things up. I think I don't know. His issue appeared to be with the way Tony Khan responded to her, not necessarily the things she said.
No, it was the things he said about her.
Correct,
Yeah.
but I'm saying he didn't necessarily agree with what she said. He didn't like the way that Tony Khan responded.
Okay, sure. Yeah. That's I
So,
agree with that,
but
and I agree with that. And you know, he put him in check, and now he does have a
yeah,
job right now. But I doubt it goes hand in hand. I'm sure it has nothing to do with it. Speaking of that, you know, obviously Melissa was very adamant of speaking her mind about Cage and his opportunities or lack thereof, or his treatment there. You know, it's an unfortunate thing in byproduct, and I see, you know, I think it was Critical Sting who said, "Is his stock fallen or has it sunk?" Here's the unfortunate thing: Brian Cage has talent. Brian Cage is better suited with a mouthpiece that makes sense. Taz and him just didn't work. I don't know if it's a personality thing backstage or you know, it's just based off the Melissa stuff. But there's going to be a lot of people, and this is where I want to go. First of all, he's a human being. Let's say that. Two, he hasn't wrestled since October, I believe, and they're making his stock fall. The problem I have with that, and I'm really disappointed in, is we're talking as if Brian Cage is a piece of shit. Like he's just some broken down musclehead that this dude could go. And if Melissa comes in with him and she's his announcer, announces him to the ring, and they just do something cool like that, and he comes out and just fucks shit up, that's the Brian Cage that needs to happen. Now, I don't know why it didn't. And what I was going to say was, you know, I already said, you know, we're unbiased here and all that stuff. I already said shame on Impact fans for giving, you know, ROH and whoever else shit about our good standing right now. And I'm going to say the same about AEW fans right now. You guys thought these people were the fucking bee's knees, man. These were the next coming of you know, AJ Styles and whatever else. You get them, you play with them, and then other people become free, and then you sign those, and then you sign other people, and it's the nature of the game. But don't forget that at one point you thought this guy was the shit. They can't be the drizzling shits now that you saw him. I just never watched Impact. Does that either mean you're a sheep and you went off of the buzz of the person, or does it mean you've never seen them wrestle period prior and then you whatever? So let's figure that out. Let's just remember that just because it didn't work out with your company or our company, it can't and shouldn't work with another company. Let the person have a fucking living. Stop shitting on the guy just because he's in a disagreement with your company right now. Yes, give me Josh versus Cage. Give me Muscles McGee versus whoever else, that Johnny Swinger. Let's go. Bring Cage home. Look, man, I know he's not perfect. I get it. I know there's some work that could be done. I'm sure Melissa, her thing didn't help the cause. Who knows? We could suggest all day, and it's probably wrong. But I think this guy has some real talent that's being just thrown in the shitter.
so here's what I'll say:
Yeah.
is his name down? Yes.
Yeah.
Is it in the mud? Yes. Is it pretty worthless? Yes. But that's all in relation to him in AEW.
Right.
In Impact, he's the former X Division and World Champion.
Yeah.
Was absolutely amazing here.
Right.
To me, it's very similar to when people leave WWE. Like Dean Ambrose in WWE was in the shitter, in the mud. No one cared about him in WWE. He left, was John Moxley,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, that's great. And so that's the thing. In AEW, yeah, they missed the mark. They missed the opportunity. Things didn't work out, whatever. Clearly, like, he's blown through any excitement people had.
Right.
But bringing him back here, you remember what he was because he's still that guy. All that talent we saw, all the things that you're like, a dude that weighs 300 pounds shouldn't be able to do,
Yeah.
that he does, he can still do all that stuff. So to me, that's what you look at when you want this guy to come into Impact.
Yeah.
You're not looking at the way AEW used him. You're looking at the way he was used in Impact and understand that he can go right back into that spot
Yeah.
because he's not 47 years old.
Yeah.
So
You know, all great points, and I think, you know, time will tell. I think he deserves an opportunity. Is the point? The point of the topic was what is our next show when we finally have a new show from Impact? Is it going to be an ROH show? Is it an NWA TNA? Is it a new knockout show? Is it a Thunder or a Rampage for fans now, or a SmackDown? What is, another day of the week episode of Impact? As the roster grows, especially as these people become free agents, as they will, once again, doesn't mean that they, just because they didn't work out with you, that they can't work out somewhere else prior. I mean, there's a lot of others, not real, unscripted sports where people are good at one team, not good in another system, come back and tear it up, and then people say shit.
Yeah.
So think about it outside of the world of professional wrestling. There's different things that play into it. I talk about the Knicks all the time. Some of the shit's mental. Some of the shit's environment. Some of the shit is the people in the locker room. You don't know, and we always judge and say, "Oh, just don't judge. Let's speak for itself. Let's his talent speak for itself." So, but as far as a new show goes, for me, with these people possibly coming in, and we still have a lot of other people we suspect. We mentioned the quintessential diva, which the person that uses that on the indies is Giselle. God, I can't get my S's out. Just Giselle Shaw. There we go. So we know who's coming as another knockout, very talented knockout in the indies. Is it a knockout show? Really quick, Max. We're a little bit over, so I just want you to give me your answer as far as if you could put one show on Impact Plus or on Access TV on if we're on Thursdays, maybe a Tuesday or something of that nature. What kind of show would it be?
I would use it as a show where it's kind of primarily your bottom half of the roster, the people that aren't getting a chance in Impact.
Mm-hmm.
I would put them on. I would obviously have a marquee matchup as the headliner, but I would use it as a show to develop those people and help get them to the point where they can move on to your main show.
Yeah.
So that's the way that I would use it. Similar to what NXT started out as, that's how I would do the show.
Yeah, I'll make it quick. There's a lot of different things that would be dope. If it's ROH, awesome, because I think you can have two different worlds and you can create your own invasions on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis whenever you need to pull that out. A knockout show would be awesome as well. I think they deserve it. I think they have enough talent. At the same time, I don't necessarily want to separate the two. Why don't we put two different shows, as you're mentioning, like a Thunder, which, maybe not as, bottom as Thunder, but we don't have that deep of a roster to where our bottom is garbage. So, you know what I mean? Like, there's people like Falaba, Larry D that people believe in I like them. I like Johnny Swinger. I like Hernandez, who've been written off. Kimber. There's roles for these people that we think are being written off currently because they have nothing for them or they're bringing more talent in. Those people could shine there or have some enhancements. Make them enhancements. Let them try out new characters there. I think the more time, the better for this talent in this roster because this locker room is mad talented and it's only getting better. So, guys, we're a bit over. I want to thank you all for sticking with us, listening to us. If you're new to the show, once again, hit subscribe, hit like, all that jazz. Comment so you can be on here next week and have your comments read and replied to. And hit us up at TNAIW channel if you want to try to pop in the power rankings, give us some shit, or no matter what. Io's killing it. He's in the chat every Saturday as well, live with us. And we do want your feedback as well. Saturday or Sunday show? What are you guys thinking? Should we stick to the Saturday 8, or should we go to Sunday 8? Let us hear it. We do it for you guys. My only concern is football when it comes back. So we'll figure it out. Let us know. We are here to please you, I guess. I don't know. Anywho, shout out to Lucha, Io, Critical Sting, Datia who was in there, Bacon Space I saw, Steve I saw in there, Macklin who was in there, Bert. Thank you guys. Thank you to our audio listeners. Thank you to our YouTube viewers. We will have Lucha on the show very soon to announce a new show, as I mentioned, that will be airing every Monday or Tuesday night, excuse me. So look out for that. And then, as always, go check out Talking Bloody Nonsense. Once again, every Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. BST. It is our buddy, our friend, our family members in Nixon and Mr. Impact Craig. It's a great show. They talk about British wrestling, British wrestling. I gotta go. Wrestling as well. But they really have some great interviews up there under TBN Chats. And they had Lizzie Evo, and then they had Ricky Knight Jr. Yes, that Ricky Knight Jr. wrestled Will Ospreay, nephew of Soraya / Paige. You know the deal. Go check those out. It's definitely worth a listen, and they're great. So watch them every Thursday. Thank you guys. We'll see you next Saturday. Until then, goodbye. Max?
Later, guys.
Bye, guys.